Okay, why is it doing that? Okay. Yes, please. Of course you may. March 15th, 2014, Avalon Ballroom, Fargo, North Dakota. The Biennial Crow Show, of which this year's presentation is an anthology of past shows. And sort of a reprise, as it were.
Like to go over...
Yes, to go over the 2002, the 2004, the 2006, the 2008, the 2010.
Great Winter Crow Show 2014. Got my car with me here, so she's going to come up. You remember Cindy Whitman from the last show. You want to step forward? Yeah, and lead us in a talk.
Yay.
She was the one that at the last Great Winter Crow Show would jump up every once in a while and just caw, and then everybody would...
The group call. It's for real. I always practice.
Yeah, she's the official opener.
The group call.
It's called...
This is the group call. Caw! 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 Caw!
Well, my friend decided to put that on.
Well, thank you for being here tonight. It's an amazing thing that we're over here at the Avalon. The Great Winter Crow Show has got larger every year with so many people coming that it was difficult for us to get everybody in the room and get a seat for everyone. So anyway, thank you for coming to the Avalon. It was a little bit confusing for people to understand where the Great Winter Crow Show went or is, but maybe that's part of the nature of the program. So one of the things that we've been doing this year that made it a little bit different is we published a book, anthology of the last 5 crow shows that began in 2004, last one 2012. And it started out with Tom Tamero, who was on sabbatical this year and was looking for a project to do. And so he came to the Spirit Room and said, let's go through all those archives and look through all those crows and see if we can put together a little book. And it became much more complicated than could ever dreamt because of the fact that we had very poor archival sources and almost every piece was called a crow. And so it became more and more complicated as time went on, but for that reason this year we asked all of our entrants to include a visual image with the title so that we can be better at keeping records. I'd like Dwight Mickelson to come up for a moment. Maybe he could just tell you a little bit about the process of how this book came about.
Thank you, Don. I'm Dwight Mickelson. I'm an artist and was a curator with Jane Rubinson for this project. And the challenge was to find images of the artwork of the last 10 years of crow shows, which was very difficult because I think some of them didn't even exist. Is that right? So if you are an artist and maybe didn't have an image in the book, it's not because we don't have great art, it's because maybe we didn't have a photo of it. Also, we tried to find examples of art that were a nice cross-section of media, sculpture, drawing, printmaking, performance art, and I think we found some beautiful pieces. Last week I was at Maplewood Park and snowshoeing up, what is it called, Holloway Hill. And as I started to rise up this hill, I started to think about this crow show coming up and how envious I was of these crows that could just see things from above. And as a curator in the book,
the crow knows.
See from a distance, taking a step back, looking at your art once again, and seeing the images and the metaphors and little metaphors that I just hadn't thought of myself, of course. It's what makes this so much fun. I'd also like to just thank Don and the Spirit Room, especially for reminding us every other year, and through other events too, about things that aren't just about humans, that bring us outside of ourselves and remind us we're part of a much bigger picture.
All right, we're fortunate enough to have North Dakota Public Radio recording our name tonight. And so we have a request to put the microphone up here, which will make it a little bit easier for them. All right, well, one of the things that came out yesterday, with all of these events, it seems like it's last minute and we start thinking about actually some of the most important things that we may have overlooked. And one of them was Tom had planned and had contacted all the poets that were in the book to read tonight. And
Pro
some
poetry.
of them are able to be here tonight. And then yesterday when we were working on the program, it hit me all of a sudden that we had forgotten about all the artists. And so I asked the artists if they would come tonight so that we could at least recognize them. And if you have a chance to look at the book, you'll see the beautiful pieces that have been part of Croshow's past. And it's a really fabulous book. It's only $10 and it's something that's very affordable. But I would like to just mention the names of some of the artists.
Dr. Rafe must invest.
Some of them are extremely shy. We said, well, what do we have to do? Do we have to stand up? Do we have to turn around? Do we have to smile? What do we have to do? So I'm just going to leave it up to each one of those artists as to what they'd like to do. I want to congratulate Renee Dance because we had been anticipating the cover on the High Plains Reader. And if you've seen it, you saw Renee's wonderful piece on the cover. And please, if you haven't seen it yet, go find it. And then also,
We will pick up High Plains Reader and find out.
Written by Sabrina about the Croshows. So thank you to both of you. Renee, you can stand up. She's so easily identified. And then Jim Templeton, of course. Cameron Peterson. And Brad Berger. Is Mary in here somewhere? Right here. All right. And Jacqueline Anderson. And the wonderful Marks. Very good. Katie Miners. Yay, Katie! He's supposed to also be my sidekick if I forget it, and he's supposed to scream right out. Sabrina, yeah, Sabrina Horner, yes. She
Sabrina, yes, I have a piece of art, which is the Alabaster Disaster of the Burlesque Show.
Judged
Oh, yes.
So the selections that were made are not home to the selection committee as to who the artists were. So there are a couple artists.
Sabrina's right
there.
there.
Twice. And really.
Yeah, the poisonous, you know what?
So,
Just whisper stuff.
I think we should begin with our poets. One of my favorite books is called The Mishap Lineage. It's by Shokan Chopra. And it's about how life holds within it all of these situations in which mishaps occur. That you plan on something and then all of a sudden something else happens. And especially with this show and getting ready for tonight, a lot of that sort of thing has been happening. Keith Bear is here, but his drummers are not here tonight.
Oh no.
We have people who, Jamie Parsley, who had to leave for a funeral, so he couldn't read his poem tonight.
No.
And Cameron McKenzie, who became ill and can't dance tonight,
Oh no.
are singing it too. So there are all kinds of things that have been just kind of tumbling forward, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. But we are here nevertheless, and still having a good time regardless. So be like crows, and we'll just soar and die and soar back up
Someone didn't
again
write down
and
the
die
chords
again.
for me today.
So I think we're going to go to our poems now.
Yes,
And we're going to
necessary
start out
poems.
with Jamie Parsley's poem, Crow, and it's going to be read by Jim Templeton.
Yes.
Crow by Jamie Parsley. The crow knows. It calls from this emptiness to the next, listening to its own echo. It cocks its head, then nods, picking over the spliced flesh and finding the tender pink place between rib bones and gristle. The crow knows more than we of what it leaves behind it. There unfolded and exposed on the pavement, and what it takes with it, into the air, into the dying light of this day that began with the call of a crow from emptiness and its echo.
Maybe. It's that nice Doug Bieber. He's trained with the camera. I briefed him thoroughly of his responsibilities. Is it true?
Yeah, she moved out of my nursing.
Thanks, Don. Thanks for all
Didn't
of
know.
you being here tonight.
Of course not.
It's wonderful to see with the warmer weather these days, it's wonderful to see the life come back a little bit and the crows to come back a little bit too. I hear a little bit more and see them around, as I'm sure you have too. So it's good to be a part of them and to be with them.
It's good to be with the crows.
The crows. The crows grasp at each other as the dawn limbs outside the bedroom window of my mother, who wants to ignore them, to sleep more. But they don't resolve. They don't leave. So she yawns to the kitchen table where she sits with toast, coffee, an unfinished crossword. The crows continue their duels for my mother's remaining years, accusing each other of sedition, brawling in their boreal courtroom, calling each other thief, burying their glinting booty into the crotches of trees until gray coins rise from my mother's chest. And when they pick her mind clean, all they can do is scream through the corrupted screen. What has justice ever done for me, me, me?
I'd like to introduce Jim Polish, somebody that I've known for like 20 years.
I'll buy you a drink in about 40 minutes.
Going way back. I was just talking about how long I've known you, way back into the dark ages, or the light ages, let's put it that way. And anyway, Jim has two poems in the book, and I'd like to invite him up.
Story when it comes to this kind of stuff. I just found out that I had 2 poems published this evening, and I will be reading both of them. One is more than 40 years old, and the other more than 25 years old. And now, in 2014, I discovered that each of them are in the spirit of crow. So I want to thank Don and Tom, who is apparently in Italy.
We will now break due to the high quality of the film here.